Good morning. Today is the 9th of November 2023. In fact, it's my 21st wedding anniversary today. It's a long time. And I'm just going to go over my pre-market plan and my strategies for today and go through some scenarios of what we're looking at. Just a quick one. Let's take a quick look at the economic calendar before we start. 8:30 some news come in. We've got Fed speakers all day today, and there's a big one coming up at 2 on today, and that's Fed Powell speaking as well. So be wary at 2 p.m. We could see the market move a fair bit, and we've got Fed speaking at 9:30 on the open, and we've got 10, 11 times to be wary of, and I think that's it. Some minor moves, and then 2 o'clock's the big one today. So on my screen is the MES chart or the ES chart. This is the S&P index futures, and I'm just going to go through some levels. I've had a bit of a tidy up of my chart recently, so this is the bare bones chart, no indicators, and I'll go back onto my indicators. I've made my daily levels a little bit, my hourly levels a little bit less, the lines are less thicker. In fact, I'm working on an indicator right now which puts in these levels, and it will thicken the line depending on how important those levels are. But that's still being worked on. So pretty much today levels are similar to what we had yesterday. We're watching for a bounce coming up at 44.20, a rejection I meant at 44.28 area, and a higher risk rejection, especially as we're closer to it now as well at 44.16, and that is the start of the demand of the supply zone we've got going back to October. We could potentially watch the bottom. That's why I'm keeping an eye on the bottom, 44.16, because last time we were up there we saw a big move down, and then we saw this big poke through and a massive reaction to that. So this is an area to watch. That's an area I'm watching for a rejection, and I'll keep my stops tight. I'll wait for confirmation, but if it does reject, if it does bounce at that, if it does break through and come back, potentially we're looking at a break and retest as well. One area I was watching was the pre-market high for a break and retest. Zoom into today, and we were currently around here when I was doing my plan earlier. This level here, and we've kind of broken through it, but we are pulling back down through it now. But 44.10 is a key area. That's the area I was waiting for it to break through and come back down to. If I had to pick and choose a better bounce, then I quite like this area down here, 43.85. That's the area I quite like, and the reason for that is an area of confluence, which links these areas up there. So we've got tops and bottoms of candles. So what was the ceiling, still the ceiling break through, became the floor, saw it poke through and come back out, still remaining as good support. So this is the area to watch, and you can see this point of control from this volume profile is actually in the exact same place as well. So that acts as natural support as well. So we come back down to that area, 43.85, I'll be looking to go long. And I'll be waiting for confirmation as well. I might just look to get in. If we break through it, I'll be watching it to do something like that. And then confirmation would be a bit like this candle here. If we come through and then the breakout of that candle, this would be a good entry there. And also watching for a change of trend as well. Technically, we've broken this area and we've changed, so maybe we're not going to be going sideways. We've been going sideways now for a few days, starting from the 3rd of November, and we're kind of stair-stepping, as you can see. We're stair-stepping here. We've got a stair-step there, stair-step there, and we've done the same. We stair-stepped up again, and then today we stair-stepped, or yesterday, last couple of days. So potentially we'll be looking, maybe this is where our area of supply is going to come into play. Don't know whether we're going to run up, but if you look on the daily, we've got a pretty good target area if we do push up, is just this downward trailing trend line, and you could be looking around 40. Yeah, probably about there as a potential intercept, and so that intercept will be 44.60, 44.50 area. And the reason for that is I was just looking for bottoms of pivots, tops of pivots, so these two here, bottoms of pivots, and I kind of looked at that area there and the tops of these candles. So potentially that's where we could be heading towards if we do, but we do need to break this area. And like I said, last time it was up in that area, we tested it a couple of times and broke back down again. So today I'm just going to keep with the chart. I keep thinking to myself, are we going to see it reject? We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days up in a row, and we could be just eating time off the clock going sideways here before we see another big push back up. So I'm going to play the chart rather than play what I think is going to happen. So let's just recap the levels for today. So the levels are the rejection of a 44.16, bottom of this area of supply, and a rejection of a 44.28, which is the top end of that area of supply. Possibly I'll see what it's doing when we break out. If we see a big push in the market open and it comes back, I'll be looking for a break and retest of the pre-market high, which is the area we're in right now. 4400 to 4402, this is a higher risk bounce area, but it will be going with a trend, and it will be with this confluence as well, so tops of candles and bottoms of these candles. But a higher probability one would be 44.85, and that's because we've got tops of candles there and bottoms of candles, as I just explained. And then we've got this area of demand, and that goes back a few weeks to October the 19th, where we saw the big reaction, and it's been an area before that as well. And that's the reason I've left this area of demand in, is because of this area here. So because of these big, when it came back up, we saw this big reaction to that. So I didn't need to move it because it's still doing its job. But a few of these you can see I've put a new supply demand area in, a new demand area there. Technically that's a demand area as well, and that's a daily level at 4200, but I'll deal with that when we get to it. And that's it really. So you can see the major area bounces. I'm going to put some alerts in to remind me. I think I've got an alert in at 44.16. This area here, I want to catch it if the bounce comes down to there, down to there. So these are areas I'm watching, and up here. So it just means that until my alert goes off, I don't need to be watching the market, or don't need to be participating in the market. Let's quickly look at SPY. So SPY is a bit different to ES. Whereas if you go back to ES, we haven't quite got to that pivot yet. So we've got overhead resistance, but SPY is right at resistance. So potentially ES could be holding SPY back, but we could be breaking out, and we look like we already have. Let's just zoom in. So I'm not sure, that's one of those funny tinfoil hat candles from the close yesterday. But keep an eye on it, because it could have some significance, because that could be where the algos are sitting right now. So I would say if we close above 439 and we actually close on the 5-minute chart above it, then maybe look for continuation in the trend up. Keep an eye on that area, 439.80 to 440, but 440, we've got a bit of a void, I believe. Then yeah, we've got a big void until we get up to, potentially we've got 440.50 if we can get over that, but then 444 is a rejection area. So, but it also means ES needs to get above those areas we just looked at as well, and it's got to get over through this area of supply. So be wary about going long on SPY as we go coming up into ES resistance. I think that's it really. So if I were to pick some levels, pre-market high, break and retest this level where we are right now, 438.50, and a pre-market and a bounce pre-market low probably at 437 area for a bounce. These are both higher risk plays because it's quite close to where we are now. Higher probability bounce would be 436 area, 436.22, and then we've got the bottom of this area of demand at 433 for potential bounce. So this is a better area to watch for a bounce. Qs, again, a break above and a retest of 373.71. Currently not too far where we are right now, 373. So level 373.71. So we're waiting for a break through that area, pull back into the pre-market high for the continuation. $371 for a bounce, high risk, but it'd be off of the upward trailing 50 moving average, which is this red moving average moving up. So we come back down to that area, look for a potential bounce, and we could be just playing that range. And that's it, and we've got a higher probability bounce at 370, which is this green area, which is our demand area. And then for big rejection, if we can get up into these daily areas, 378 is a big area for rejection as well. So watching this area here to 377. I imagine Nasdaq is probably not too dissimilar. Now again, a bit like ES, we've still got some overhead supply. So we have to get through that area before we want to go long. So if you're going long Qs, then bearing in mind we've got overhead resistance, overhead supply, which may see a rejection off of that area. So it's definitely a rejection. 15,500, 15,468 is a rejection area from this area of supply. Last time we got up there, we crawled up slowly, grinded up, and then we saw this big reaction down. So potentially we could see a similar reaction back up that area. I'm not going to go any further than that. We've got obviously 15,600, that area, 652. Bounce wise, I would say 15,300, 15,310 for a bounce, and that's similar to what we looked at on the SPY and the ES down to there, and that's based on area confidence over here. So that's Nasdaq really, they're the two levels really to watch. Oil, it's been in a bit of a nosedive. We're putting in a new daily downtrend. We're still in that daily downtrend. We've now closed below the 200 moving average as well. So, and we've broken below the pivot as well. But we're coming up to a break and retest area, which is along here. So 77 reject, 77 and 78 is a reject area as well. I'm going to make an adjustment to that. That's those pivots there. So 77.62, which is kind of where we where we held there. We come back up to this area for a potential reject for the pushback down, and that's going with the downward daily and hourly trend. That's it really. We need to change trend before we start looking for longs, and that's not until we get to 82.34 or probably 82, 83, 71, 84 area. We could see 81 as a potential area as well, so let's mark that up. 80.66, as a rejection area. And then gold, see that we're on a daily is confirmed a downtrend. We've broken this pivot, weren't able to hold it, so we're in a downtrend. Potentially if we move back up to that area 1978, we could look for another short, but we are holding the 200 moving average right now, so let's just see where we are with that. This could just be a bit of a pullback on the uptrend on the daily up, and we could be looking for a buy setup if we break up through there. So let's look at weekly. Yeah, weekly we've broken that high, just come back in. We're still above the 50, so we're still well within being in an uptrend. I think if we can come back down to the 50 on the weekly, we might be looking for a potential bounce, but we could be looking at a little inverse head and shoulders here, so one to keep an eye on. So hourly wise, there's no real plays unless we can get back up to 1978, so that's the only area to watch for a rejection. And we've got this big area confluence as well. So that's it really. I'm going to recap MES again. So MES, we've got the pre-market, we're still in the pre-market. Don't forget we've got speakers today as well. As anything at 9, you've got Fed speaking at 9:30, so I'll probably stay away from the open for and let it settle down for 15 minutes. But we've got a break and retest of 44.10. This area here I was really watching. Pre-market high, but we're coming into an area of supply. So 44.16 rejection, 44.28 is a rejection area. They're the two areas I'm watching for. And if we come back into this area, 4400, 4400, 4402, then I'll be looking for a bounce. And that's it. I've got a major bounce area down here at 43.69 as well. And again, we've got this area confluence, which it also acts as support. And so 43.85 is another bounce. So there's a couple of these two areas for bounces, and these two areas for rejection. And I'll probably skip the pre-market purely because the Fed's speaking.